The nearby school bus accident made the adoptive father believe that all of this was the little boy's doing, and over time, he became convinced that this kid was the little boy never changed his look, which made him even more convinced that this boy was really a little devil, so he knocked the boy out and imprisoned him for a whole 30 years. So, this little boy looked exactly the same after 30 years. Although Sayaba found it hard to believe, he bravely told Molly the shocking secret. He hoped to get Molly's help to investigate the little boy, who was currently receiving treatment in the hospital. Upon arrival, they found the site ablaze, 7 dead, 10 missing. The boy was deemed as suspect and detained at the station for questioning. They arrived at the police station. Molly sought an old friend to talk with the boy. They took him to a room and questioned him. The little boy said he remembered nothing and was afraid of bright lights. Before they could get any useful information, he seemed to hear that strange sound again. We must go to the woods, not just any time. At the moment Molly touched the boy, a strange memory surged over her like a tidal wave. Did you hear that? Let's go together, okay? Let's go. Let's go together, let's go together. Let's go together. Alright, following Molly's negotiations. They prepared to take the little boy to the hospital for a mental checkup, but Officer Noel had to tag along to prevent the boy from running away. During the ride, Molly remembered those previous memories and suddenly made a bold decision. As they rushed to the train, she dashed out. Following the little boy's directions, they reached a woodland, but to their surprise, the boy shot out like a rocket, and Sayaba and Molly quickly chased after him. They were also curious about the boy's secret. After running for a while, they saw the boy stop, but what they didn't know was that, from the little boy's perspective, he seemed to be in another space. There stood a strange woman on the opposite side. Molly stepped closer to the boy, and as he saw her, they began to chase again. Their target was the little boy, and it was daytime. Soon, Noel caught up, and Sayaba advised him to keep calm. The little boy ran off with Molly as they saw another world from their perspective. Noel fired into the sky to warn them not to run and rushed after them, but soon lost track of them in the other world. The shot that Noel fired ironically hit Molly, as if this place were a junction of different spaces. Noel's fall sent Sayaba into a tailspin, and he had no choice but to come back and ask Sayaba to help the little boy. However, in the very next instant, Sayaba caught sight of that little boy in the far distance, and only then came to the realization that he might have stepped into an entirely different world. He didn't know when time would be realized, but Noel asked Sayaba to help that little boy. When he was caught, Noel was locked in a spot as if he had slipped into a dream. No matter where he appeared, strange disasters would follow. 30 years ago, the fourth point guardian John discovered him and locked him up. He accidentally touched, and it felt like a vehicle crashed the floor into a lake. With Sayaba's release, all sorts of disasters began to strike this town, and even the fifth point guardian, Lisa, couldn't escape her fate. She was hit by a car in the street, and then many people started taking their lives. Sayaba had no choice but to tell the grown-up Henry the truth, hoping he could return to his original world through a special crow. But the now-grown Henry had lost the memories of 30 years ago, and he thought Sayaba was crazy, sending him straight to a mental hospital, believing he had gone mad from being in the dark basement for too long. He hoped the doctors could help him improve, while Sayaba simply looked up at the sky, resulting in a crow falling dead right in front of him, leaving Henry in disbelief. The next day, Molly found Henry and told him she accidentally killed his adoptive father when they were kids. She said that on the day Henry went missing, she sensed his hatred. That is the reason why she pulled the plug on his adoptive father's respirator. After hearing this, Henry thought Molly was crazy and stormed off in anger, while Sayaba's bad luck once again set fire to a mental hospital. Another 7 people were killed this time, and Sayaba was captured as a suspect, while Henry was called in for questioning. Police suspected that the series of deaths was somehow linked to him. So, they were locked up together in a temporary jail. Inside the jail, Henry asked Sayaba, "Who exactly are you?" Sayaba replied, "I'm another you, having lived through the things you experienced as a child, and I have encountered everyone around. It's just that later you accidentally entered my world, and all the pasts and futures changed. Because of you, entrapped in this world." Sayaba even began to recount stories about his adoptive parents from his childhood. Henry still couldn't quite believe it when a group of thugs suddenly rushed into the prison, immediately hurling loud insults at Zayarbai. They seemed to find it amusing and mocked him crazily, but Zayarbai just stared quietly, and soon they began fighting among themselves. The two sides fought fiercely, and one person was stabbed. When the police took him away, the thugs seized the opportunity and snatched away his weapon. Thus began a strange massacre as people continued to fall one after another. Henry rolled under Zayarbai's feet amidst the struggle. Zayarbai opened the door and smiled at Henry, saying, "Let's go."